Hello, this is Stephanie Remick, and I am the Director of Public Policy at Chavez Schools, and I wanted to provide a brief overview of the fellowship process this year. Let's begin by looking at the timeline. March 4th is our interview fair. Again, it will be held at the Hill Center. We expect the interview process to end on March 25th. April 8th is when I will announce your final fellows, and the following week, on April 15th, is our onboarding day. Fellowship will then start on May 31st and end on June 14th. Let's take a moment to briefly review the interview process. As a reminder, you will interview 3 candidates for each fellow you plan to host. If you plan to host 1 fellow, you do 3 interviews, 2 fellows, you interview 6 students, etc. The best opportunity for you to interview all of your candidates is to participate in our interview fair on March 4th at the Hill Center. It is scheduled from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. and different students will be available each hour during that time frame. In order to participate in this fair, you must register online, and that link is available on our fellowship website. I will post the final schedule both to our website and send it to you via email. It is possible and highly likely that you will not need to be at the fair for the entire 3-hour block of time. However, I ask that you reserve that time now on your calendar just in case. If you are unable to attend the fair, the other ways you can interview our students include interviewing them at your organization. Some hosts prefer to do this because it gives them an opportunity to see if the student knows how to get to their site and knows how to get there on time, and also provides the student an opportunity to meet their colleagues. You also can ask to do interviews at the campus. If you would like to do this, you need to send me an email and we can schedule this after school, either Monday through Thursday starting at 3:30 p.m. or Fridays beginning at 12 p.m. The last option is to conduct interviews via phone. We prefer that you interview your candidates in person, as this is the primary way they've been prepared to complete their interviews. However, we understand with the restrictions of the students' schedules that sometimes a phone interview is the only option. I wanted to briefly review the expectations for students and the expectations of our hosts throughout this interview process. First, even if you plan to attend the interview fair, students will send you an email requesting an interview. This is an expectation of our students that they contact each of their organizations to schedule their interview. Please be checking your email, including your spam folder, as students earn a grade for each interview that they complete. Once again, I wanted to highlight that all rankings must be submitted by March 25th. So from March 1st, essentially to March 25th, you will have the opportunity to interview all of your candidates through all the means I highlighted earlier. And by March 25th, you need to submit your preferences online. It is very important that you rank your Capitol Hill students and Parkside students separately for us to determine your final fellows. Now that I've mentioned final fellows, let's talk about how you will learn who you are working with through fellowship. I will send an email on April 8th connecting you both to your student as well as to the student's teacher advisor. From April 8th forward, the teacher advisor will be your main point of contact for fellowship. This is the person you should reach out to if a student has not submitted any necessary paperwork, or if you needed to schedule a follow-up meeting or phone call with the student. The teacher advisor is the person you should make sure to connect with. The following week after the announcement of your fellow on April 15th is our onboarding day. We are expecting students to arrive at your organization at 9 a.m. and you can hold them until 12 p.m. You are not required to keep them until 12 p.m. if you only have an hour's worth of orientation to go through. It is okay to dismiss the student at 10 a.m. We just wanted you to know that you have the option to hold them for a 3-hour period. Onboarding day is not a requirement of our fellowship hosts. However, if you do choose to participate, we find that it helps with our students' confidence for the first day of fellowship. It's a great way for them to test the commute, and it's also a great way for our organizations to get any necessary paperwork out of the way. I know for our federal agencies especially, there's sometimes background checks that are required, fingerprinting may be required, or students might need to get some photo IDs done. If you are unsure about the paperwork that your fellow would need to complete, I suggest you reach out to your Human Resources Department now so you can determine whether or not you want to participate in onboarding day. You can register again to participate in online, which is available on our fellowship website. Throughout the months of April and May, your fellow will be reaching out to you if they are enrolled in the course that's preparing them for this experience. This course is known as Public Policy 2. Not all students, unfortunately, are enrolled in this class due to scheduling conflicts. However, the majority of students at Parkside are enrolled in this course, and only a quarter of the students in Capitol Hill are enrolled in this course. This course during the months of April and May will require the students to complete a research project related to their fellowship. So if a student reaches out to you during those months, it's because they would like some more information in order to finalize their project. If a student doesn't reach out to you, that's okay. It's likely an indication that they are not enrolled in that particular class. Let's talk about fellowship itself. I included in the email in which you received this video an attachment that outlined some best practices, and I suggest you refer to that for more details about how to produce projects for your students. So again, students will be at your office from May 31st to June 14th. They need to work 6.5 to 8 hours per day because they are earning school credit. So if you work from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., the student can mirror those hours. However, recognizing that hosts like to have some work time to themselves, you can have the student come in at 10 and leave at 4:30 if you prefer. Managing fellows. On-time arrival is very important. We are expecting our students to be on time. However, we know that sometimes the metro or the bus isn't running on time. However, they should be reaching out to you if they're going to be delayed. If a student does not arrive on time or if a student is absent, it is very important that you alert the teacher advisor ASAP. The teacher advisor needs to find out what happened to the student and needs to record the student's tardies and absences, as it could result in the student failing fellowship. So for instance, if you tell a student that they need to be in by 9 a.m. and they have not arrived by 9:30, please contact the teacher advisor. Allow for a 30-minute window and then contact the teacher advisor. However, if a student emails you or calls you or texts you to alert you that they're running late, but they're still extremely late, let the teacher advisor know. An example of this might be if you told the student to be there at 9 a.m., they text you and you're like, okay, see you in a little bit, and they don't arrive until 10:30 or 11 a.m., please alert the teacher advisor, as that's an abuse of the tardy policy. Students are expected to get lunch on their own. We as the school provide them with a stipend. The stipend is something that they can use at any local vendor. However, if you tell the student that they have an hour for lunch and they are taking an hour and a half, you need to alert the teacher advisor so that we can address this situation. Finally, the more structure you apply to the fellowship, the better the experience will be for both you and the student. Chavez Schools is a Title I school, as all of our students receive free and reduced lunch. What this also is an indicator of is that some of our students are 2 grade levels behind in their reading and math skills. This does not mean that you should change your expectations, and it does not mean that our students are not capable of completing the tasks that you are assigned. What it does mean is that you are going to need to be a little bit more hands-on than you might be with a student from a different area of the city or with a college student. So we highly suggest that you meet with your student daily, that you provide explicit instructions for every task and set strict deadlines. Make sure you are also asking the student if they have questions. We find that in the workplace, sometimes our students can be a little bit shy, so please always make sure that they know that they can reach out to you if they are confused or if they have questions. Also, if you can ask your colleagues or take some moments yourself to check in with the student throughout the day, that would be very helpful. Really think of yourself as being a mentor. So if a student isn't acting professionally, we really would appreciate if you would address this with the student first to let them know exactly what it was that they did that was unprofessional before reaching out to the teacher advisor. We want our students to understand that in the workplace, you are their supervisor and that you are managing the expectations for their work. Okay, I wanted to pause. I've referenced the fellowship website several times, and so I wanted to take a moment to actually show you some of the documents and links that are available there for you to use. Okay, here is the website itself. It is chavezschools.org/fellowship, and what you'll notice is that the timeline I've highlighted for you is also listed here on the website itself. And then if you scroll all the way to the bottom of the page, you'll notice a section for fellowship hosts and a section for students and teacher advisors. All of the links that fall under for fellowship hosts are the paperwork and links to different registration forms that you will need to access throughout the fellowship process. The first item I would like to highlight for you is the Fellowship Placements by Campus. The Fellowship Placement by Campus is a document that lets you know where your students are coming from. So if you are assigned to both campuses, that means you will have fellows both from Capitol Hill and from Parkside. Then we have some organizations that are only hosting students from Capitol Hill and some organizations that are only hosting students from Parkside. I ask you to refer to this list as you are submitting your rankings, as well as you are looking at when you would be at the interview fair. The other item on the website is our interview fair and onboarding day confirmation registration form. So you can link to the website directly and fill out whether or not you plan to participate in the fair or whether or not you'll be available for onboarding day. The other link that I referenced is our fellowship rankings. So this is a place for you at the end on March 25th to fill out who you met with and your preferences. Finally, again, all this information can be found again at chavezschools.org/fellowship, and you want to scroll to the bottom for fellowship hosts. All of the documents and links can be found here. With that, I am concluding this presentation. I thank you very much for your time and attention. If you have any further questions, feel free to email me at stephanie.remick@chavezschools.org. I'm also happy to address your questions via phone. That is my cell phone listed there. I am also very responsive to text message if you prefer to just ask me a quick question that way. Thank you again for agreeing to work with our students. We look forward to a successful Fellowship 2016.